everybody, welcome back to a squishy episode of Lampcast. Today we're doing our top albums of 2016. Everybody got their lists out and ready?
Yeah.
Quick, our lists are of varying length, and we're gonna run through them all quick until we get to the top 10, and then we're gonna do like a little discussion cycle thing for the top 10. Let's get going. Who wants to go first?
I had 47 albums on that list, you know. What, should I just read off the albums?
Yeah, just fast.
Alright, fast. So, The Great Divide, The Bible 2, AJJ, Exploded View, I forget who put that album out, Big Baby Dram by Dram, Do Hollywood by the Lemon Twigs, 22 A Million, you gotta put Bon Iver in there, I kinda like that album, even though I'm a hipster garbage. Lil Boat, Lil Yachty, gotta put that on there, cause he's Lil Yachty, you know. Respect, I respect that.
For real, respect.
Yeah, man. The Dream Is Over, who was that? I don't even remember. A Sailor's Guide to Earth.
Do you even like these albums?
No, I don't like these albums at all. Is These Are, Dive, that was cool. Untitled Unmastered, not really a full album. Still, gotta love me some Kendrick. Front Row Seat to Earth, that was good too. The Life of Pablo, Bottomless Pit, I liked me some Death Grips. Next Thing, Frankie Cosmos, White Hot Moon, Pity Sex, American Band, Drive Guy Truckers. Skip Tracing, Mild High Club, Weezer, White Album, Sport, Powell. Shape Shift With Me by Against Me, a good punk album. Body Wash, A Seat at the Table, that was a good album.
That was a good album.
Iggy Pop's album that he put out this year, that was fun. Life of Pablo, okay, I put that on the list twice. I meant to get rid of this one. The Skeleton Tree, that's my number 22nd. 21st was Awaken My Love, Childish Gambino. I was a big fan of it. Number 20, The Swans, Glowing Man. 19, A Weird Exit by the OCs. 18, Telephone. 17.
It was just Telephone, dude.
I don't know, man.
Wait, the No Name record?
Yeah.
Yeah, just Telephone.
It's actually no.
Yeah, that's what I said. Blonde, Frank Ocean. 15, Schmilko. 14, Moonshaped Pool. 13, My Woman, that was Angel Olsen.
That was a good album. 12,
Floss. 11 was The End of Comedy by Drug Dealer.
I'm going to explain 50, 49, and 48. 50, The Life of Pablo. Go back to the review, I gave it a 3 or a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand by that. It was, not only was it a spotty album at the time, but it was also an unfinished album. But now that it's finished, I enjoy it quite a bit when I listen to it. But the thing is, I'm only listening to like 40 minutes of it. I skip a good deal of The Life of Pablo. And so while I love the experience of listening to it, it's not, the actual album is still not that great to me, but I have come back to it time and time again. I thought about 49, Lil Yachty, Lil Boat. I don't really enjoy it musically, but I just love him. 48, Young Thug, Jeffrey. I enjoyed the direction this album went in, and I'm more excited to hear from Young Thug in the future, but it was also a spotty album, but it satisfies that trashy trap rap itch that I get from time to time. Alright, now here we go. Swans, The Glowing Man, Ash Kusha, aka I, Skepta, Konnichiwa, Dram, Big Baby Dram, Solange, A Seat at the Table, Sturgill Simpson, A Sailor's Guide to Earth, Beyonce, Lemonade, Jank, Awkward Pop Songs, Gloss, Trans Day of Revenge, Tony Molina, Confront the Truth, Lysis, Chasms, Wormrot, Voices, Sleaford Mods, TCR EP, Sheer Mag 3 EP, Kemba, Negus, Matmos, Ultimate Care 2, Frankie Cosmos, The Next Thing, Weezer, The White Album, The OCs, Weird Exits, Aesop Rock, The Impossible Kid, King Gizzard, Nonagon Infinity, No Name, Telephone, both Anderson .Paak projects, Malibu and Yes Lawd, No Worries, Kendrick Lamar, Untitled Unmastered, Death Grips, Bottomless Pit, Gatecreeper, Sonoron Deprivation, Denzel Curry, Imperial, Chance the Rapper, Coloring Book, Radiohead, A Moonshaped Pool, Shoo Shoo plays the music of Twin Peaks, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Skeleton Tree, Joey Perp, Eye Drops, Frank Ocean, Blonde, Nails, You Will Never Be One of Us, and Jeff Rosenstock, Worry. Dillinger Escape Plan, Dissociation, number 11. Okay, now we're good.
Wow.
I didn't count
You killed them.
So my number 10 was Weezer's The White Album. I thought this was a wonderful return for them. It wasn't bad, and I bought it on vinyl, and I have a good time listening to it, but it's nothing life-changing.
For my number 10 spot, I put King Gizzard and those Wizards, Nonagon Infinity, just because it was so high energy, and it was such a consistent release, and the gimmick is actually really great. Just the fact that it keeps looping on into each other, and there's some really interesting techniques. I'm really excited. I'm very excited for their microtonal project that's coming out.
So starting off with number 10 was Swans with The Glowing Man. I liked this album a lot more than I expected, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to drag this on too long, so we're gonna keep going here, rapid fire.
Okay, so my number 10 was RTJ3. I just thought that was an awesome album. And when it got released, Christmas Eve, or I guess it was on Christmas because it was at midnight, that was so awesome. And it's got such a great message, you know. We need this right now. We need RTJ.
I grouped both clipping projects from this year into one. One was work songs mixed with space, and it was this cool adventure thing, and the other one was entirely about BDSM, and it was...
Oh, was it?
Really?
I did not know that about Wriggle.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
The album art is very... it tells you all.
Alright, my number 9 was Preoccupations by Preoccupations. I've never listened to Woman or Viet Cong before, so this was a great introduction. I thought the production was great. The just guitar textures were wonderful. It was a great kind of throwback to that 80s post-punk goth sound, and I just had a blast listening to it.
Yeah, that is also my number 9 pick, and different from Ethan, I actually am a big fan of Women, and I have listened to the Viet Cong album. I also found this record a very enjoyable listen, and I listened to it often this year. I found myself coming back to it.
Got Death Grips with Bottomless Pit. Great album. Love Death Grips.
Alright, my number 9 was Wildflower. Yeah, I know, shut up. Yeah, it was worse than the other one. But I think this album is a little underrepresented.
For sure.
Underrepresented today, like this year. Like, come on, it was actually really, really, really good.
Number 9, I have Injury Reserve with Floss. They're a small indie rap trio that sounds really big, and I admire that. They're going for the jugular and doing it well. Check out our Injury Reserve Floss review.
Let's link it right there.
Alright, my number 8 pick was Connor Oberst with his track Ruminations. I'm gonna let some other people talk about this record a little later, but I love it. But if you ever have harmonica in your mix, throw it in the f***ing back.
I actually think they should have made the harmonica louder just so you wouldn't make this album, you poser. My number 8 pick is Teens of Denial. It is not it didn't even make me want to listen to the rest of the Car Seat Headrest discography because I kind of thought it was a little bit too plain. But I you know, as I got more into the rest of Car Seat Headrest discography, it retroactively made me like this album more. It's definitely not my favorite Car Seat Headrest release, but I still think there's a lot to enjoy in it.
Big ups with Before a Million Universes. I'd never heard of this band before this year, but they came through with a really, really great release, and yeah, I'm still listening to it to this day.
So my number 8 album was Atrocity Exhibition, and come on, it was Danny Brown. It was too good.
It's too good, you fucking sexy.
Yeah, it was too good.
Yeah.
Everything was super tight, you know, kind of a depressing album, the fact that it's about his all his addictions and stuff coming back to him.
Yeah.
And he's an old dude. He's been in the game too long. Well, not too long.
Number 8, I have Preoccupations with Preoccupations. It's a throwback to that Bauhaus type synthy post-punk from the 80s. It's a very good time. I like his voice. It's kind of darker. I don't know. There's nothing to dislike about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it did anything exceptionally new, but it's the post-punk release I enjoyed most this year.
My number 7 pick was Frankie Cosmos, Next Thing. I went into this not expecting anything, but I came out with a very enjoyable indie rock kind of poppy release, and it was just a very fun summer record.
That's good.
No more fucking oranges. I'm sick of this shit.
So my next record is a record nobody here expected me to enjoy.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, even though it was after everybody kind of went and did it. Worry by Jeff Rosenstock. This album is dynamic, and I don't think it shows. You know, I don't think you'll get everything through just one listen. I think you have to listen to it multiple times, which is something that I appreciate in a record, that there's always a little bit of a sonic wrinkle.
Next up is Touche Amore with Stage 4. One of the saddest albums I heard last year. Yeah, it's great. If you like post-hardcore, I really, really recommend this album, or Touche Amore in general.
Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. I just kind of love this album. It was such a fresh breath there into the hip-hop scene, you know, a little bit. It was a fresher breath air. I mean, it was a breath of fresh air. It was kind of fun. It was funky. It was great.
Connor Oberst's Ruminations, lyrically he doesn't always hit, but he always sounds like he means it. Like if it's sad, it sounds sad, and so I don't hold it against him because it's clearly something that he's actually feeling. Aesthetic that I get from it of like one guy in a room in a little house and he does it by himself.
It's like Grouper but a dude.
Despite not having like the most diverse instrumentation, he's able to make songs stick out.
My number 6 pick is Injury Reserve with their sophomore LP, Floss.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great release and comeback from Injury Reserve. It was fresh, and I think they're gonna be a very interesting group to watch in the future.
My number 6 was Confront the Truth by Tony Molina, and this album is not an album, it is an EP that is 11 minutes long.
His album was 12 minutes, and now he puts out the EP and it's 11. I love him so much.
And these songs are beautiful, and they kind of remind me of they have like the instrumentation and the arrangements are nice. I say arrangements, but just some guy doing everything. I can just put it on, and it's just nice. It's just a nice listen, and I can listen to it over and over again, and I don't get tired of it.
Next up is David Bowie with Black Star. I mean, can't say much about it. Probably said all that we could in the review.
My 6th favorite album of the year was Malibu. I like that album a lot. It reminded me a lot of Kendrick Lamar, but you cross that with a lot more like sort of funky old school vibes and all that fun stuff. It's really another fresher breath air.
That's a coinable phrase.
Coinable phrase. Cool.
6, Danny Brown Atrocity Exhibition. Doesn't sound like anything else in hip hop today. Though I think certain songs are they drag more than others.
They're kind of gross.
It doesn't. Nothing else sounds like it, and just how daring it was, how daring Danny Brown always is always commendable. He'll continue to do things that other people wouldn't think of doing.
Alright, my number 5 was also Atrocity Exhibition by Danny Brown, and I mean, you guys have already said a lot about it, but the fucking run of songs from like Really Dough, Lost, Ain't It Funny, and then what is it, like Gold Dust. Yeah, Gold Dust. Oh my god. Just adrenaline pumping rap music. If you haven't listened to this record, you're missing out.
Yeah, that was also my number 5 pick. I can't really say much about it that hasn't been said before by this group, but just the fact that it exists today shows that hip hop is truly the music, like the innovative genre of the 21st century.
At number 5 is Coloring Book, Chance the Rapper. I hadn't really listened to Chance this year. First time I listened to the album, I didn't like it. Then I listened to it again, and I loved it. Then I saw him live, and I loved it more. So yeah, great album. Congrats to Chance for getting a Grammy. Yeah.
Another hip hop album, my favorite hip hop album of the year was Thank You for Your Service by A Tribe Called Quest. So that album was just perfect. You know, it was a great send off for what was it, Phife Dawg? Yeah, it was a great send off for Phife Dawg, and I really liked the sentiment that they had in the album, where it's like, okay, we're done, but you guys have it in control. Where they named a few rappers who were like, yeah, these guys are carrying on the torch.
I listened to Hobson today, and I wanted to die.
My number 5 is the same. Tribe Called Quest, Thank You for Your Service. A lot of 90s throwback stuff is cheap and not too good, but it's not really 90s throwback, it's just them coming back and doing what they do best, and I think they had a lot of fun with it, and
in that aspect,
stopped. I had a lot of fun listening to it. They brought in a lot of the new guys who are keeping up their kind of rap music, and I appreciated that.
My number 4 pick was Worry by Jeff Rosenstock. I thought this was a phenomenal release. I don't think I like it as much as We Cool, but I think it's still great. That run towards the end when all the songs just blend into one great kind of mesh is...
And there's ska.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Rainbows made this album incredible.
Made this album my number 12.
My number 4 is Moonshaped Pool by Radiohead. Okay. Admittedly, I have not been the biggest fan of Radiohead. I can understand what they have done in the past, and if I was like alive and listening to music back then, I probably would have been like, this is like, I'm really into this. As far as like a consistent release this year goes, yeah, this was a pretty good release. I think it's one of the most dynamic things that Radiohead has ever done, and I thoroughly enjoyed it from front to back.
At number 4 is Car Seat Headrest with Teens of Denial. I'm discovering Car Seat Headrest this year. Love this album. Went back, listened to even more of their albums. Loved them. Saw them live. Loved that. And yeah, it's a great album, great band.
My number 4 was Black Star by David Bowie. It was an amazing album, especially like sort of how it was released too. You have to keep the release frame in mind.
That's
too.
right. That's
2
right.
days before he died. 2 days.
We filmed that review in this very house, which is the same house we film all our reviews in.
Yeah, we filmed them all.
Did you say that there's a link right
There's
here?
actually
to it?
not a house. We actually live in a junkyard, and there are fragments of houses.
Okay,
Make it rain.
street sex and position. I guess this is a metal release. So I guess it's my favorite metal release of the year. Oh, a lot of what I had a problem with in 2016 was even the really great albums, besides maybe Atrocity Exhibition, a lot of the really great albums, and Clipping, I guess, a lot of the really great albums were things you've heard something like before sonically.
Yeah.
And to hear Street Sex, and I know somebody in the comments will be like, oh, Street Sex sounds like this. But
actually,
and to have something that I had to like really chew on and work my way getting into because it was so not like anything else I'd ever really spent the time listening to before, was such a joy to be able to do this
it's like
year.
the Dark Souls of music.
It was such a joy to be able to do that this year. The way they use noise to their benefit, but also somehow like a lot of the time have melodic singing on top of that, and then to just break down into noise sometimes, and the post-rock influence. It's so fantastic. The closer, If This Is What Passes for a Living, is one of my favorite songs of the year. It's, if you're up for a challenge, I recommend it.
Top 3!
My number 3 release of the year was RTJ3. I'm so glad that it was as good as it was. I still have my problems with it. Link to our review.
I hear so much
Actually,
work.
the link is up here.
That's
Oh, there it is.
It was by your implication there's a decoy link here.
Mr.
I think it's a great political record with some incredible beats, lyricism, performances. It's just all around great, and if you haven't listened to it, you should.
My number 3 album is also Run the Jewels 3. I didn't expect this record to actually wow me, and especially end up so high on my 2016 list. But I genuinely adored this record, and I think it's a great continuation of everything Run the Jewels has done. And I think I think it takes itself a little bit more seriously than Run the Jewels 2. I love it. I think it's great. I think if you want some political music, you should check it out.
I'll link to that picture of Bernie Sanders and Killer Mike right here.
I know where the real link is.
Coming in at number 3 was an anticipated album for me last year, was Worry by Jeff Rosenstock. And from 2015, We Cool was one of my favorite albums of the year, and Worry is no different. Pretty much on par with We Cool. It's excellent.
My number 3 was Human Performance.
Oh,
by
that's a
Parquet
good ass
Chords.
album. That's definitely that's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah. It was a fun album, but also had some good deep stuff, you know.
Fuck, I should have
whatever.
put that on my list.
And One Man, No City is one of my favorite songs of the year.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. My top 3 are pretty equal in my eyes. I didn't. In past years, I've had a clear number 1, and this year I didn't really have a clear number 1. So I guess I did in the end rank them, but I would take it like a grain of salt. Number 3, I have David Bowie with Black Star. I have to walk away from this album for like a month at a time sometimes, but every time I come back, it hits just as hard as it did before. In the era of rock music, we haven't really gotten. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where rock musicians are old now, and they're kind of, you know, entering into their final years.
The death years.
Yeah, and to see how some of them deal with that is very interesting.
David Bowie, best death album of the year.
I don't know. I can't recommend it enough. I guess you can check out our review of that. Oh, and we already linked that. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
5 links.
My number 2 was We Got It From Here, Thank You For Your Service by A Tribe Called Quest. I did not have any expectations going into this record, but I was...
either actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
neither did I.
I was so blown away with it. This record felt a lot more hopeful in its
It
political
was a
statements,
fresher
but
breath air.
yeah, it was just as biting though, you know?
Well, we gotta get a T-shirt that says "Fresh Up Breath Air." We also gotta get a T-shirt that says
Kit Kat's dumbass.
"Kit Kat's dumbass." We also gotta say we gotta get a clock.
Yeah, but the beats and the flows and the lyrics and
the hoes.
Busta Rhymes. Holy shit.
For my number 2 record is going to be a controversial pick, and I know I'll never end up getting. My number 2 pick is Next Thing. I actually don't think I listened to a record more than this one this year. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have problems with this record, but it didn't stop me from loving the hell out of it. I fucking enjoyed the hell out of this record.
It was a heckin' good record.
And it's definitely a mainstay in my personal repertoire of music that I listen to. Yeah, of music that I listen to often. It's just the hooks are so catchy. There's a surprising amount of depth to these really simple instrumentals, and I love it. I really love it.
Coming in at number 2 is Danny Brown's Atrocity Exhibition. I mean, what can I say about this album? It's fucking nuts. It's great, yeah. To be honest, I think I like it a little better than Triple X. Just a little. Just a little. But it's good. It's real good.
My number 2 was, I mean, these guys have said a lot about it already, but it was Worry, Jeff Rosenstock. So in the beginning, I listened to this album a couple times, like, yeah, this is pretty good. But then I bought it on vinyl because it was cheap and I knew I liked it. And then I fell in love with that album, man. It was like, wow, this is really good. It gets better every single time I listen to it. This is awesome.
Number 2, Run the Jewels, Run the Jewels 3. I've been a really big Run the Jewels fan for quite a few years now. They really got me into the music scene that I'm into now.
Why are you talking to the light?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Run the Jewels got more serious. With the music that this political climate has kind of brought up, I think it's been better post-election and post-inauguration. I think now that they have to face musicians have to face the reality and start actually talking about what they're going to do over the next 4 years.
True that.
It's gotten a lot better, but I think Run the Jewels 3 is the album this political climate needed. I take their message to heart, and I don't know. I'll always be ready for more Run the Jewels.
My album of the year was Ruminations, and it's I do not profess to be a real music critic. Okay, and I
don't think any of us do.
No, but I want everybody to know that like my personal list is obviously heavily biased. And the album that I gravitated to the most this year, and I would kind of do the most research on the songs, and the one that I think is actually a really strong, really great release that has left an impact on me is Ruminations. And that says a lot because I don't even like Bright Eyes. I cannot get into Bright Eyes for the life of me. I think that this album is stripped back enough, and I think it's so earnest in what it tries to accomplish that I really adored it, and I look forward to listening to it more.
It's 2 albums at number 1 for me, and that's both Jenks, Awkward Pop Songs and Jenks Versace Summer. I kind of group them in as one album, to be honest. But yeah, discovering Jenk this year was one of my favorite experiences, and I still listen to them and the bandmates' other music like right now, and probably one of my favorite releases a year. Going to see them live was one of my favorite concert experiences of all time. And yeah, just some good jangly emo, weed pop, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's a weird one, but there are lots of other albums that I could say that objectively deserve this, but in my opinion, that was my favorite album of the year, and I dug it the most.
Should we all say ours at the same time?
Should we sing ours at the same time?
Do we say artist and then title, or do we say title and then artist?
Fuck
You are now listening to
Car Seat Headrest! Yeah, we all picked Car
It's
Seat
undoubtable
Headrest
for me.
I was obsessed with it all summer.
Dude,
Yeah.
same.
And then like I stopped listening to it, listened to it again, and then it just got me like super into all of Car Seat Headrest material, which I fell in love with.
Owen got super into it recently, and that pulled me back in.
I think what you said, like a lot of the things this year didn't necessarily sound new. I think this definitely had a throwback indie sound, but I think it brought enough new arrangements, musical ideas, and personality to the table to
Unlike
give us
the Lemon
something great.
Twigs, who just did the old thing. There wasn't a track on there that I didn't like.
Yeah, I can get it. Unforgiving Girl's growing on me.
Yeah.
Okay, just to give you a little gauge on how much I love this record, my Spotify, top three most listened to Spotify songs of this year for me were off that album.
I think I listened to Ballad of Caustic Concordia the most.
I love that song.
I think I listened to Unforgiving Girl the most in the end. Or Not When I Needed.
Oh,
I have nothing but questions.
Now I want to listen to it. I love that album.
Goodbye 2016. Good luck 2017.
Fight for the rights.
Thanks for watching the 2 videos that came out this week.
2 videos. Okay, that's a lot of pressure.